Hey guys, welcome back to GMade CNC. Today we're going to be writing some conversational and doing some code editing. I have a follower that emailed me about a week ago. He's got a project that he's got an upcoming project that he has to do, I believe, a batch of 200 parts. And he has to, from what I got from the email, he has to face it, groove it for an E-clip. And he wants to be able to use the turret to drop a tool in front of the part so he can release the collar closer and pull it out, touch it off there, lock the collar closer, and then continue running another groove and then parting the part off. Very similar to this here. So it'll be faced, grooved, and then he wants to be able to pull the part out and then groove it and then part the tool off and then fall off, and then have it sit in front, pull it back out to 0, and continue the run. So I chose Delrin because it's a very weak material. You'll see as it gets pulled out, it's going to wobble and flop around, but that's not going to affect the cut, because where it's actually cutting is right up against the collet, which is it's a very taut area. But having it to stop in front and then continue cutting, instead of explaining it through an email, which can be misread, or just maybe I word things to a point where someone wouldn't understand, I decided to put a video together, so it's a very easy to perceive what's going on here. So with that said, let's get this started. Okay, first we're going to just part the tool off, the front of it, face it, just so we have a clean surface. So let's do 2-1. I'm just manually jogging this. Just get a clean surface. Okay. So now we'll do my master tool is 7, which is the probe. So we'll use that probe. Come down. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is release the collar closer. So it's part can move. Okay, and I'll explain why I'm doing this in a second. So we'll jog the part in. I need about 3/8 sticking out or so. So you can just rough eyeball it. Okay, a little more. Alright, that's good there for this particular project. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close the collar closer. Different collets and different materials are going to suck in. This particular one, I measured it already on that previous part. It sucks in about 3/1000. You have two choices. You could either back it off 3/1000, pull the part, and then lock the collar closer, and then it'll be dead 0. For this particular project, because we're going to be moving and setting it off a tool at different areas, every time I pull that collar closer in, it's going to suck back 3/1000. So I'm actually going to leave it right here. I'm going to set this as 0. Okay, and then I'm going to close the collar closer. And it sucks in just a hair. And then when it comes back here to pull the part out, I'll touch it off, and then when I lock it, it'll suck back about 3 thousandths. And the same thing when I come back over here to start the part all over, I'll touch it and it'll get back sucked 3 thousandths. So it's very repeatable. You know, it's the same on each part. Otherwise, I would have to, every time I had it stop to get a set off, I would have to add 3 thousandths positive to the Z. So it's up to you. You could do either or. For this particular project, this is fine. It'll suck back, and then when it's over here, I'll touch it off. It'll suck back 3 thousandths, and the same thing when I come to 0 here, I'll stick it in. So we got that set. I already set X for this. Just bring it back. Alright, and we'll get into conversational and the code. Okay, so let's go to conversational. We'll go to facing, that'll be our first stop. Now this is set up from the previous when I ran the test part for this. But we're going to go through, rewrite the whole code, and then we'll go in and edit it, and I'll explain why I did what I did. So my facing tool is tool number 1. We're going to shave off 200ths off the face of it just to clean it up. The part is 5/16, so this is all set here. Okay, post, save, go back to conversational. Now we're going to grooving and parting. Now I used, to cut these grooves in here, I used a parting setup. For some reason, every time I wrote the program, it was coming up with an error telling me the tool is, or the width of the cut is too narrow. I kept spreading it apart. I don't know why. Maybe it's an update, but that was something I look into. But for this, I use parting, and it works just as fine. You just tell it to only go down so far instead of going to 0 to part the tool off. So what we're going to use is my grooving tool would be tool 5. We're going to go in negative, let's see, we'll do an 1/8 inch in, so 0.125. Oh no, wait, we have to add 2 thousandths, sorry, 200ths to that, because we're facing it. So we'll go 14.5, and because it's a turret, it's positive, so let's go 250, and everything else is good there. And then we'll turn off, edge break to put that little 45. I turned, put that at 0. So we'll attach the file. Okay, back to conversational. We're going to groove it again. Now I'm going to pull this part out. It's 3 inches long. So when it gets pulled out to 3 inch, we want to cut this on the back side of where it's being parted off. So you're pretty much just mirror imaging this over. So instead of being negative 14.5, we're just going to do positive. So basically it faces it, it parts it here, or grooves it, and then it gets pulled out. So this program would actually, this is 0 right here, so it would actually cut over here. So we're going to actually tell it to go positive, so it cuts on this side. So attach. Alright, back to conversational. So after it puts this groove in, we're going to come over and we're just going to part the tool off. Okay, so now we want to part the tool off. So we cut that groove into it, and now we want to part it off. So my parting tool is tool number 2. Okay, we want to part it down to 0. Okay, and then we're going to part it off at 0. So 0. Okay, attach the file. Okay, now the code's written, but now what we got to do is edit and write in the codes so that it'll stop here and we can pull the part out, and then it'll continue cutting over here, and then after it parts off it'll come back over and stop at 0 so that we can pull the part out of the collet and then start the run all over again. So we'll go into edit. Alright, so now we're in edit. Okay. Facing's our first one. So it'd be tool 1. Alright, that's fine there. Second one is tool 5. So that's the first groove. Okay, so that we can leave there. Okay, and then it comes to the end of that code. So right here is where we will choose, for me, my master tool that I wanted to mark off of is going to be tool 7. So it'll be T0707. Okay, then we'll drop down. Then we wanted to retract Z. So G0 Z0. Nope, sorry. We wanted to retract 3 inches. So after it does this, we want to tool number 7 to come back and stop 3 inches out so that when we pull it, it'll touch off there. So Z 3 inches. Then we want it to go down so that it's directly on the part. So G0 X, and we're going to offset it a little bit just in case there's a little dimple here for some reason. Maybe the tool's not set up right, but we'll have it offset a little bit so it catches, you know, up a little bit further. So because it's a turret on this application, we'll be in the positive, so we'll do 0, do 800. Will give us that offset. Okay, now if we just leave it like this, it will do the groove, then it'll come over, change to tool 7, and then it'll do back off 3 inches, drop down, and then it'll automatically jump to the next tool, which we don't want. We want to be able to pause there and stay until we're ready to continue the program. Where do we go? Tool 5. There we go. Alright, so we have a tool 7. It's going to back off in Z 3 inches and then drop down to 800ths off center. Okay, so turn next. We're going to do M00. And what that's doing is it's operation stop. So it'll just stop the program until we decide to hit cycle start again and continue the program. So that's, let's go through real quick. It'll face it, it'll groove it, it'll back off 3 inches, drop down 800ths off center, so that we can pull, release the collar closer, pull this out, touch off, lock the collar closer, and then when we hit cycle start again, it'll back off and then come over. And next step, it'll groove this, then it'll part it, okay? And then after that's done, we have to write another code after parting. So number 2, parting tool. We'll come down here and let's see, we will do tool, so T 707. Then we will go Z 0, and we'll offset it again if there's a bar or a little tab there, so it doesn't interfere it. We'll go X negative 800ths. M00. Alright, and then at the end of this we're going to put G30, and what that's going to do is send it back to the G30 offset, so that it's out of the way, so that when the turret spins nothing happens. And then when M30 kicks in, it just restarts the whole program and you hit cycle start and continue from there. So G30. We'll save this. Okay. So here's our code. There's our first tool 7. Alright. So it's going to retract back to 3. We pull it out, touch it off. Then we hit cycle start. And then it'll continue the back groove and then the parting. So number 2 is parting. And then at the very end, it will go back to our 0 position for Z. Alright, and then we just pull it out of the collar closer, the 3/8 or whatever that we had set, and then hit cycle start and continue running the program again. So we got that all set up. I'll get you set up in front of the machine and we'll run a part. Let's cycle start. Come in and just face it. It's number 5 grooving tool. Now it's going to go to number 7. Now it's at resting at 3 inches. Release it. Touch off. Cycle start. Parting tool. that little burr there is why we offset it, the tool a little bit, just in case something like that was stuck on it. So now, pull it out, touch it off. Now it's at 0 again. Lock it down. Close the door. Hit cycle start. It's going to return back to G30. Now we just start the whole program all over again. Cycle start. And there you go. And the same operation could be done if, let's say, I don't know, you were making a pen sleeve, and you wanted grooves like this down the whole thing, but the material was weak. You could do several, grooves, and then same thing, pull it out, several grooves, pull it out, and all you'd be doing is just editing the program by adding that position. So if you could do 3 grooves and you wanted to pull out 1 inch, what you do is you just tell, instead of like we told it 3 inches, you would say 1 inch Z and offset it in X, so that there is a burr or something on there. The burr isn't hitting this and your coordinates are off. And then keep pulling it out, same thing, 2 inches for the next one, and it would groove. 3 inches, it would groove. 4 inches, pull it out, groove, and then part it off, and then you'll have, 4-inch piece, 6-inch piece, whatever, with a ton of these grooves in it, instead of having to have it stick out and, push the part down, and the grooves get deeper the further in it goes. So, as you can see, there's the razor blade. I'll cut the end of that off. Okay, there are 2 points. And you just keep hitting cycle start and cut as many as you need. If there was anything I missed in this, or you guys didn't understand, maybe I explained it wrong, please comment below. Let me know. Hope this was helpful for you. If you got any more questions, let me know, email me. And if there's something else you'd like to see, if you wanted to see a video done with editing using the bar puller doing the same method but with a bar puller, just shoot me an email or comment below, and I'll throw a video together on that and how to edit it and put the dwelling cycles in, so you can pull it out and then continue from there, make it fully automated. But I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time.